ahead and get ourselves kicked off for the day. How's everybody doing so far on this glorious Tuesday? Anybody sell anything today? Acquire anything? Anybody create an opportunity? We're talking sales and acquisitions. I figured I'd start with asking who's actually made a sale, who's actually got some opportunity that came through. No, Sophia's like, nah.
Sean, I have a verbal offer accepted, just waiting for the seller's attorney to review the contract, and should have a property under contract by the end of the week.
Hey,
Oh.
Congratulations.
Where'd this
Thank
one come
you.
from, Kim?
I'm sorry.
Which one was this one?
This one actually came from, this was a realtor lead,
Okay.
an off-market realtor lead.
From the realtor campaign you've been running?
Yes.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet. Well, Kim's at least, selling and shaking and closing deals.
I have an appointment set for Thursday as well on another property,
Nice.
and I'm underwriting 2 others. So I'm a little busy.
Today was a good day for us too. I just, Roger and I just got off a call. We just closed another really good opportunity on our end. You're gonna be seeing a new face coming around, another Dominator client that's moving and shaking in a couple different states. So it's a good sales day, right? But with that, we're going to get into today's discussion. And there's something going on in chat. Let me pull it up so I can actually see it. Oh, just some kudos and congrats. Okay, nothing, no questions yet. I wanted to pose the question here. I'm curious from you guys in the realm of this concept of sales / acquisitions, right? Real estate, it's the art of acquiring. That's when we're actually in sales mode. We're selling our service. We're selling who we are. We're selling why it's beneficial for a homeowner to work with us versus the more traditional route, right? In that process of having that conversation, right? Let's say perfect world, you had 0 problems getting people to pick up the phone and call you, or fill out a form on your website, or raise their hand and basically say, hey, Chris, you're in the dead smack middle of my screen. I'm interested. I want to talk. You've got no problem with that, right? But once that happens, once they say, absolutely, I'd love to chat, or that's interesting, tell me more. From that point to when you get the yes, let's go ahead and go under contract. Go ahead and sign the agreement. What is your biggest struggle? I'll let you think about that. So envision somebody saying, hey, Sophia, I got your postcard in the mail. It was intriguing. Calling you up because I'm just curious. What do you mean by this? Tell me more. From that point to the point they actually sign the contract, what are some of your big hurdles?
Not overselling.
Okay, Sal says not overselling. I want to hear from everybody before I go too deep or elaborate on some stuff. Sal saying not overselling.
Not rambling.
Not rambling.
Shoot. They want this. I gotta try to get them. Oh my God, what am I gonna say?
Okay.
I would say it's building that rapport and getting on a deeper level with the seller, because it's so much more than just, hey, here's my offer.
Okay. So building more rapport.
Yeah, I think that's on mine, is finding the actual pain point, the root cause of the pain point. It's like you got to get to that level to solve the problem before they'll commit. So just identifying that.
Yeah, for myself, it would be differentiating between myself and then the competition that we're up against, some of the bigger dogs in the market.
Okay.
I'm thinking that would be one of the last things would be getting all the way to the finish line and then not closing. Then what?
What do you mean by that?
Well, say you go through it and then at the last minute they decide not to play.
Gotcha. They get cold feet in essence.
They do, yes.
And you're saying not sure kind of what to do at that point. Anybody else got something different? Different area or different element that it may not be just a struggle. You just may be looking at it saying, hey, I wish I was better at that. I do okay, but I just kind of wish I was better at it. Terry, anything?
Yeah, it just depends on the situation. So they all seem to be different and nothing really stands out of anything pushing or a hurdle that we have to overcome.
Okay. So it's funny, the ones that were brought up, there's actually a very strong correlation between it, right? A lot of you guys said kind of building the rapport, the commonality, really being able to dissect what's going on and connect, right? At that deep enough level where I'm actually speaking to the problem. And then a couple of you said, hey, overselling or rambling or just talking because I feel like if I don't talk, I'm going to lose it. You know, they're going to run away from me. They're going to decide not to go any farther with me. I just got to keep talking through it. And there's actually a direct correlation between in sales, between building rapport and overselling. What do I mean by that? The stronger my rapport is, the less I actually have to sell. The less I actually have to try to close. The less I actually have to try to get a commitment, because it actually follows suit with the more they are engaged in and building rapport and committed to me. It's almost a non-verbal agreement that they're giving us that they're going to move on with us. Does that make sense? You guys understand what I'm saying there? Right. Again, I'll go back to dating for a second. The better our dates are with the person, the stronger the conversation. Chris, you just recently got engaged, right? During that dating period, as you guys built that relationship and you kept spending time together and you found these commonalities and you made connections, and life started to become very natural together. By the time you got ready to ask for the commitment, in this case, the hand in marriage, was there really a doubt in your head that she would say no?
No, not at all. No.
You kind of already could assume that by me asking this, I'm going to get the yes answer. I'm just going through the formalities, right? Because this is the thing that I should do, the next stage in this relationship, right? Which is no different in sales. I know if I've built that level of a relationship with an individual, by the time I get ready to ask for the business, in real estate, asking for the business is saying, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, would you like to accept this offer? That when I've built a strong enough rapport, I'm probably going to get the yeah, sure. I take Kim's example. She just, told us as we kicked off this call, got a verbal yes. Well, if I've got and knowing Kim, she's probably got a pretty good relationship with them. Somebody's saying a verbal yeah. I don't want to 100% say it's a guarantee, but there's a strong, probably 95 to 98% probability that person's coming through. Sure, the attorney might see something in the contract they want to make an adjustment on. Maybe they come back and want to have a conversation, but we'll probably get that to the finish line. So what is the common kind of component here that helps us not oversell and at the same time build a really strong rapport? I'm going to throw this out. I'm curious if anybody's ever heard it. Who knows what I mean when I would say posture in your conversation? And it's the car salesman hand that I see. Anybody other than the car salesman understand what I mean by when I say posture in our conversations?
Like showing credibility, showing
Confidence.
confident, yeah, that you are what you are. I don't know.
Kind of. Getting there. You're kind of like lukewarm in the game, hot and cold.
That you are the expert of that, not that, whatever you just, and forgive me, I just jumped on, so I don't even know what we're talking about.
No, you're there. You're lukewarm. Right? We got to get a little bit more of the hot valve turned on here. Anybody else have a stab? I think I mean by the word posture.
I would say, Sean, like how you position yourself.
What do you mean by that? 'Cause you're
Well,
100%
one of the things I've learned just in my experience, like in coaching, instructional coaching, is we position ourselves by the language that we use. So, for example, if I were to say, I'm proud of you versus you're proud of yourself, each one has, it positions you in a slightly different way. Like you're talking down to somebody or you're talking side by side as a colleague. So I feel like with posture, you know, you're positioning yourself as confident, reliable, trustworthy by, you know, what you say, what you don't say. It's sort of like how you position yourself in the conversation, in the interaction with the potential seller.
100% agree. 100% agree. So let's break down what posture is in this space. A lot of the comments that I see kind of coming in, you know, being prepared, confidence, you know, knowing in advance, these type of things, you know, just kind of having a little bit of swag in essence to you. Now, there's a fine line between confidence and cocky, swag and cocky, right? You got to hold that line. But in this position, posture is everything. How does Sal stop overselling? He has to stop begging. How does Gene stop talking and talking and talking? He has to stop begging. How does John better understand what the root cause is? He has to listen more and not talk as much, right? Posture gives us that ability. So what is posture? If I were to do it in a diagram, and I don't have I'm not over there quite yet, but I want you guys to envision me drawing this. And if you have to draw it yourself to see it, go ahead and draw it out. Imagine you are in a swimming pool in the deep end. You can't touch the bottom and you are struggling to stay afloat. You're struggling to keep your head up. Meanwhile, while you're there in this moment of panic and frustration and fear, I'm standing on the side of that pool. I've got this ginormous floaty that's red that you would just absolutely love to be able to grab onto so you don't have to struggle anymore. Everybody picture that? He who is in posture is the one with the ability to save. In that scenario, I'm in posture. Why? Because I have something that you would really like, or that you could really use right about now, right? I have the answer to your problem. The person that's, in this case, you, who's sitting in the middle of the pool, struggling to stay afloat, treading water like crazy, probably flapping your hands all over the place. What are some of the words that are probably coming out of your mouth at this point? Chris, what do you think you'd be yelling?
Yelling help, or some other words.
Help, throw me that thing. Can I get the life-saving device, right? You are absolutely in zero control of the outcome of this situation. Would you agree with that, Chris? I 100% have what? Chris?
The
You're
ability to
awesome.
help.
The ability to help. I have 100% control on what's going to end up happening in this situation. If I take action and I throw this thing to you, you will survive. You'll be fine. I'll be able to bring you to the side of the pool. You won't die. If I choose not to throw this thing to you, chances are you're probably going to drown, right?
Correct.
Posture equals control. Write that down. Posture equals control. Anytime you feel like you are overselling, over talking in a beggar's mode, you no longer are in control. You are actually the one drowning. And this is what I see frequently in business on the sales side, is we in that position, we fall really quickly into beggar's dilemma or beggar's disease, we can call it. Take the example I just said. We become the one drowning, and the seller that we're talking to becomes the one holding the keys to our ultimate success. They're holding the keys to the house. We see them as the dollar sign, that deal opportunity, right? That deal value that I really need, because I haven't done a deal in a long time. That seller is another listing. Need to get them as a listing client, because I don't have any listings out there. I need to make some money, right? For my Sophias of the group. When in reality, we should be the one with the life-saving device. They're the ones actually struggling. They're the ones that need they need our help. They need our solution, right? So to build strong rapport, they have to continuously look at you and feel like you are the answer. You are the solution. You are exactly what I need in this moment. And if we can keep them in that position, we hold posture, we hold control. When I hold control, do I need to talk a lot? No. Write this down. He who is asking the questions holds the conversation. Or in essence, he who holds the power and control. So to sum this up simply, if I want to stay in posture, if I want to feel like I'm in control, I don't want to feel like I'm begging, I don't want to feel like I'm over talking, I don't want to feel like I'm not really helping the root, I need to talk less and ask way more what? I see some mouths moving, but I don't hear anything.
Questions.
Questions. I need to ask more questions. Keeps me there, right? Now, this doesn't mean just ask a bunch of questions, just ask questions either. We need to be very strategic with our questions. What was, somebody spout something off earlier, and I followed up with a question. Who was paying attention? Who remembers what it was?
Did you like clarify? Tell me more
I was
about
just gonna
that.
say, who are you talking to first off?
Well, Bob, tell me, who was I talking to?
I believe it was the question that you reiterated back to me. Why or how did I think that?
Who remembers the language I used to Bob? Bob's answer was kind of vague. Right? It was vague in the sense that it could have meant a lot of things. I needed to better understand what was in his brain to understand the context of it. Who remembers what I said to him? What was the question back?
Would you tell me more?
Tell me more about that. Great questions during the sales cycle, during this relationship building piece, during the acquisitions, relationship building kind of process that we go through. Great questions to ask are very pointed, open-end questions. Well, I'll sell you my house. John, you sent me this postcard. I got this thing. You're saying I'll take it, you'll give me a cash offer. I'm all for a cash offer if it's, $200,000. Well, there's a reason that they threw a line out like that. There's something going on up here, right? To better build the relationship and better dial into it, I want to keep the posture for a second, get control of this. But before I can make the move on that, I got to better understand why they're thinking 200,000. Well, Sean, that's kind of interesting that you threw that number out there. Can you tell me, how did you get to 200,000? Yeah, Sophia, I've thought about, listing it, but, I just don't really like realtors. Interesting you bring that up, Sean. Is there a particular story? Is there a particular reason? Did something happen in the past? Is there a reason that you don't like realtors? Pointed but open-ended, right? Other questions that are really good to ask in this are yes and no type. Very clear-cut yes, no's. And I'm not going to go down a whole path of getting into kind of strategies where we start stacking. Once you understand this, then you can take it to the next level and you start understanding the power of asking questions that they have to answer with yes, and stacking yes to get that final commitment kind of thing. I'm talking early relationship. I ask a lot of questions. So to give you guys kind of an example, in our business, right? I get on cold calls quite a bit. Somebody naturally books with us, referral, whatever, found us online, whatever the case. I jump on a lot of Zoom calls with people I don't know, don't have relationships with. Some of you guys fell into this category. John, you're a great example of this. We got on a call together. I didn't know John at all prior to this. Not like I even knew kind of what your background was in the real estate world. But when we got on our first call, a lot of times I'll open up with, tell me a little bit about what you got going on, John. Tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me a little bit about, what's kind of your goals. What are you focused on, right? Take that in the real estate world. I'm talking to a seller. I get on a call with them. First thing I like to ask them is, what's got you thinking about selling? What's kind of, your reasons for considering it? What made you give us a call today? What made you fill out the form? What made you answer me? These type of things. I want to get them doing what?
Speaking and answering.
Talking.
Yep, talking and thinking.
I just want to get them talking, right? Through them talking, I can listen for other opportunities to ask questions to keep them doing what?
Keeping them engaged.
Talking and engaged, right? But more or less, I just want to keep them talking. Why would I want to keep them talking more in the first, let's say, 3, 4, 5 minutes of our encounter together?
To get information and to help them feel more comfortable with speaking with you.
There's the key. Yes, gather information. If you're listening very well, remember I said, if you listen better, you'll ask stronger questions, right?
It also stops you from rambling.
It 100% keeps you from rambling because you're only able to ask a question or two, right? Lets them do more of the talking. How many of you feel really comfortable that if I put you on the spot right now and asked you nothing but questions for about 3 minutes and made you answer, and you did all the talking for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, other than Keith, we all know he loves to talk. How many of you would actually feel really comfortable with talking before you finally were like, you know what, somebody else, I need to get the attention off of me? Right? It's very natural. So in the sales cycle or the sales process, in this aspect that we're going through, if I can get them talking quite frequently in the first couple of minutes, it's setting it up to where they're eventually going to be like, I just don't want to talk anymore. I want to hear from you. And we're going to bypass a lot of the stuff, and they're going to give me the opening, because a lot of times they ask, how can you actually help me? Tell me more about what it is that you do. Because if I'm asking good questions, I'm dissecting enough stuff, I'm able to throw certain things in where, yeah, we've heard that a lot. Yeah, we've dealt with a lot of other homeowners that are in similar situations. Yeah, we see that a lot in the real estate market right now. A lot of sellers seem to be struggling with that in this market. I could throw little one-liners back between my questions. Eventually it sets them up where they're like, so tell me, how have you helped other ones? Dominator client that we just got off the call with. $2,500 a month package. Didn't know him from Adam. He's been working with another competition. Asked enough questions. Made little comments here and there. Yep, we got a client in South Carolina, dealt with the same deal, was struggling just like you guys are. Good domain authority, no traffic whatsoever, no organic keywords. Got a couple hundred now. Getting a couple leads in, making deals happen. Yep, this guy over here, we know he's in New Jersey and he just launched over in Florida. They were saying something about wanting to launch into a second state. Yep, got this guy over here, did this, did that. When we launched to the second state, he actually started ranking within the first 24 hours. The natural reaction or natural question that they came back with finally after we talked for about 5 or 6 minutes like that was, so tell me, those guys, like what's the package that they're in, because that's what I need. Tell me about that package. Tell me how you can service me. Talk less, ask better questions, throw your little injections, and they in essence will tee it up. But I love what Sophia also said. It gets them comfortable. Most people, by the time they get to the point of being willing to talk to you on a phone, if you cold call them and they answer and they're willing to stay on, they know it's going to a sales pitch at some point. If they schedule a time to talk with you, if they go to a website and they fill out a form, people know what the next step is. They know they're going to get sold to. The difference is in the comfortability when they get to that point to make it easy. We do that early on, hold posture, ask good questions. And I can go a lot deeper into this, but I don't want to send your hamster running too fast. Thoughts, comments, questions up to this point?
It's a lot of interaction, like with the NLP stuff, a lot of overlap with that is what I'm catching. So the communications, I think, is the key critical component. And I think the one thing that what I'm getting out of it is drop the hook, reload it, drop the hook, reload it, drop the hook. And then every once in a while, because you got to keep your mouth shut until they actually decide to make that decision to finally let you talk.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Thoughts, comments, questions? A good takeaway there, Bob. Jordan,
Sean?
Go ahead, Kim. I saw you unmute.
I was gonna say that's precisely how my last few conversations with sellers have gone, is because they called me when they were ready. So I didn't have to do any of the chatter. Most of the conversation was had by the seller, and I just interjected every now and then with a question or two. And all of the information that was given to me was just based off of them just spilling it.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to volunteer to role play this? Nobody wants to role play and learn. I'm gonna put somebody on the hot seat, so it's gonna be my pick.
Go for it.
Oh,
You volunteer? Okay. Here's the rules. Here's the rules, Gene. You're not allowed to talk other than ask questions until you've at least gotten 10 questions out. So the only way that you can speak is you have to ask me questions. Until you've gotten to 10 questions, then you can freely speak about things. Okay. John, you be my my question counter to make sure Gene makes it there. Okay. So Gene, I got a postcard in the mail from you. We're gonna use that as the example. I happen to, no, I won't even give too much out. I got a postcard in the mail and I happen to pick up the phone and call you. Okay. That's where we're at in the process. So you've at least, you know that you mailed me something on it. You put a special phone number on there, let's say, and I'm calling that number. So you know this thing's coming from your mail campaign. Sound good? You ready? So ring, ring, ring.
Hello, who's this?
I got this postcard. I'm not, did I call the right place? Is this Onyx Homes?
This is Onyx Homes. How can I help you?
Yeah, my name's Sean. I got a postcard in the mail from you, and I just was giving you a call to kind of figure out what's going on here. I got this postcard.
Sean, that's great. You got a postcard. So what made you call?
It was kind of, interesting. There was a pretty picture of a beach on it, and we just got smacked with about 19 inches of snow. I wish I was on the beach, but I'm confused. It's Onyx Homes, and you got a beach. Are you a travel agent too?
We're not a travel agent. Why didn't you see about beaches?
Well, I mean, who wouldn't want to be in a beach this time of year instead of in this cold Chicago weather?
So Sean, sounds like you're thinking about moving.
I am. I am thinking about it.
So are you ready to make the move? Because we can. Are you ready to make this move?
That's a loaded question. It's I'm ready to make the move, but gotta tie up some loose ends here first.
Loose ends. So what kind of loose ends can you need to tie up?
Well, got a house I got to get rid of first. I definitely can't afford 2 homes, so I'd have to get rid of this house.
Can't afford 2 homes. Can you tell me a little bit about the house? What about the house can't you afford?
I don't have that kind of income to have 2 mortgages, so I'd have to sell this house to then try to move somewhere, and I'd have to get rid of this home first.
Well, we can definitely help you with that. How quickly are you looking to sell?
Depends on the price, I guess. If I got a good number, I'd probably be ready to move in about 30 days.
Okay, so besides the price and thinking about a beach, what else is motivating you to sell?
I'm just tired of Chicago. Tired of the cold weather up here.
Perfect. We've helped a lot of people such as yourself, and we're really ready to help you. So tell me a little bit more, Sean.
I'm not sure. What do you want to know? I want to
So
sell and get to a beach.
You're ready to sell, you're ready to get to a beach, and we're here and ready to help you. What I'd like to know is, so what is your timeline? What are you looking at to move?
Like I said, if I got a good number, I'd move in like 30 days or so.
We can definitely work on a good number for you. And I think we're ready to help you here. So is there anyone else that would make this decision besides yourself?
I'd have to probably run it by my, significant other, but let's just be honest. I wear the pants. I make the decision.
I get that. I get that a lot. But is she available right now? We can hop on a call with her.
No, I don't. She's not here right now.
She's not here. So when would be a good time? I'd love to sit down with the both of you. What's a good time to get the both of you on?
Well, I would just, let's talk, and if it makes sense, I'll bring her. I'll tell her about it.
Okay. So we love helping people such as yourself. I love talking to both parties together. And have you checked out our website? Have you checked out a little bit about us to see how we can, what kind of assistance we can give for you?
Yeah, I actually, there was that, what do they call those things? Those little code things that you scan with your phone on the card. So I was intrigued. I scanned that, and I saw kind of your page on my website, or your page on your website on my phone when I was scrolling around, and looks like you're Chicago kind of based. So that was kind of why I decided to call you.
Perfect. Yeah. So it sounds like you think we're a good fit for you. Is that right?
Well, I mean, you're a local company, so I figured, work with somebody local preferably.
I think I lost count of questions.
You're at 14, by the way.
Oh, wow.
You need to ask about the house just as a tip.
We'll stop there. I wanted to, it was more of a role play of getting you to ask questions, right?
Yeah.
So
after a
before I
while,
go
it
into
gets a
too
little-
much, Gene,
Yep.
how did it feel? What were some thoughts looking back at that? How's that feel? What is some things that you probably identified yourself?
Trying to listen to your response and trying to line up questions, like 2 questions ahead to see what I can ask. And I'm trying to tailor it based on what you're saying. See if I can kind of grab what you say, rephrase it back as a question, and try to get you to answer some more.
Anything else?
I guess because I knew that we were trying to, I couldn't say anything other than a question. It forced me to think about other questions. So I'm like, okay, what can I say? What can I say? Am I asking a question? Like, so it was keeping me on track with that.
Got it. Everybody else in the on the call here, what was some things that you picked up? What maybe something Gene did well that you thought, or some areas that maybe Gene could have improved on? Bob, I know you got something. You were jumping around like a freaking.
I'm sorry, it's my AD. Actually, all the questions were great. I was hammering away, shooting ones at him in the chat, but he didn't ask a single one that I sent to him, which was freaking awesome. But like one of the biggest things you kept repeating, yeah, if I get a good price. Well, what's your definition of a good price? How did you get to that number? Or what even remotely thinks that you're going to get that? Hey, you can't afford 2 homes with the same with the income that you have. Well, that's not true. If there was an opportunity, I could show it to you where you could keep that house and buy a new house to relocate to, use it for passive income. Does that interest you? Things like that.
Great feedback. Anybody else? Sophia, you're reaching for that mute button.
I was, but then he said what I was thinking, so.
Great, pick up something else then.
I like how quickly, the questions, he lined up the questions. And it seemed like he was thinking more about the question, the next question than to talk about the business, about what they do and how they help people. So I think if it wasn't that, we were trying to count the questions, I think he probably would have, said more about his business.
What kind of answers was he getting from me?
Pretty vague.
Vague and short, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what could he have done to try to elicit maybe a little bit longer explanation, or not have so many kind of short, rapid fire answers back at him?
I was thinking maybe ask more about the house. Like, tell me more about your house. How long have you lived there? Stuff like that.
Consensus of the whole kind of conversation there. What really did we talk about?
That you want to leave in 30 days, potentially.
The
'Cause you like the beach.
motivation.
Yeah, so 14 questions deep. Really all we kind of got was this postcard kind of intrigued me. I'm curious about getting the heck out of Chicago, right? Moving to some warmer weather. And I kind of called you today, right? That's about the gist of the conversation. Was there anything else that he could have picked up on? I threw a little resistance in there around something.
Oh, there'd be a significant other or whatever partner.
Yeah, that was a great job for Gene to realize, hey, are you going to be the only decision maker? Or is there somebody else? And the second I kind of mentioned there's somebody else, it was, I want to cut this, let's cut out all the headaches. Let's get both of you together kind of thing. That was a great move. But did I throw some resistance to that? And he kind of glazed. He tried to ask twice, but when he got a little resistance of me, like, no, I don't loop her into these things. I'll just take it to her myself. You just got to move past it. Like, cool. We love helping people like you. Really? You like helping self-centered assholes?
You say you want to piss, so he's like, whatever, okay.
Remember, posture is control. And in that case, you could have, Gene, there'd have been no problem ending it right there. We absolutely love working with homeowners, and we've helped a number of them, achieve that dream, getting the heck out of Chicago and getting to colder weathers. If we're going to move this any farther, I absolutely need, to have a conversation with all the parties, on the table.
Can you also ask like who's on the title? That's another way to see if that as well. Ask
Yeah,
that
he
same
could
question.
have followed it up with, well, she might not be a fully decision maker, but are both of you guys on the title? Are you married? Right? Because whether she's on title or not, if we're married, that's a piece of it. And then that could have set it up like, this is something that we could do. So when would be a good time for all of us to get on a call so we can continue this? Overall, though, pretty good, yeah, for being put on the spot.
Oh yeah, I would have bombed that thing.
Great, Sophia. We got 15 minutes. Let's try it. Yep. So Sophia, you are going to be the real estate agent.
I had a lot of background noise going on right
And
now.
Keith is going to be your homeowner that you're trying to get as a listing appointment.
Okay.
Keith is in the market to sell and stumbled on your website when he was doing some searching and found you as a local real estate agent. Okay.
All right.
Same thing. You got to ask at least 10 questions before you can just go into any kind of explanation of what you do and how you do it. Okay. Ring, ring.
Okay, ring, ring, ring.
Hello, Sophia speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, Sophia. I ran across your website and am looking for a little bit of support with a home that I recently inherited. And I was curious if you guys provide options for people in situations like that.
Sure. Yeah, we absolutely do. What exactly did you need help with specifically, if you don't mind me asking?
So I've got 5 brothers and sisters, and we all own the property together. I'm sorry, we're not to do that. It's
Too much?
That's crazy. Let me back up. So so I have one. Let's go with one. I have a sister who also is kind of splitting that property. It's 50%. And she's willing to sign, she's kind of willing to kind of take her losses if we can sell the property, and she's kind of put me up to seeing, what we could get for it to make a quick sale. The property is currently out of state in Georgia.
Okay, awesome. And now, what exactly were you thinking about in terms of price? What were you thinking about selling the house for?
So we would love to sell the house for 70% of ARV minus rehab to make it easy on you.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. So
he wants to sell it for 500,000.
There we go. 500,000.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, man.
Okay. So perfect. Now you mentioned that this was a probate situation. So who exactly is the executor? Would that be you, Keith?
Yeah, I'm the executor.
Okay. And you mentioned that you have 5 brothers and sisters. Are they all in agreement with selling?
Yes, for the right price.
Okay, for the right price. And that you said was already 500.
500,000.
Okay. And have you finalized all the documentation needed for the estate?
No, ma'am. This is just an initial kind of phone call, just kind of exploring options and seeing, you know, how we can get the ball rolling.
Okay, all right. So, dang, I lost cost. How many questions am I at right now?
I'm nervous too.
I'm like, I got a lot of information. I think I can, you know, just keep going.
You're at 7.
Oh, okay. What else let me say? Okay. All right. So, what about? Tell me a little bit about the house, Chief.
Sure. So the house belonged to my grandfather. He lived in Marietta, Georgia. It was in a nice suburb. Home was built in 1986. He was alone. He lived alone, so he didn't do much to it. But really, you know, the condition is solid. There wasn't much, and not much happened to it, you know, during the time that he owned it. He just worked every day and came home and didn't spend a whole heck of a lot of time. So it's got a carport. It's a 1-story house, but well, it's a 2-story house, but it's on a little bit of a hill. So the second story is actually kind of, the first story is level with the top of the driveway, and the second story is beneath that. It's
Okay.
about, I'd say, like 1/3 of an acre. And, you know, there's some vegetation and some, you know, tree work and things that kind of need to be done. You know, he didn't have the ability to maintain it, but it's not like, you know, totally overgrown or distressed.
Okay. All right. So you'd say that it's in okay condition, meaning like living condition.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. And how quickly were you thinking about selling?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Okay. And I know that with these probate situations, it may take some time. So what if it took, you know, a little, in terms of time frame, a month, 2 months, like what's that end time frame that you guys are looking to sell?
Sure. So if we can close within 3 months, and obviously, you know, we have to, you know, work with our attorney and, you know, get our information hashed out, which I was also kind of wondering if you had any insight on just that whole process. 90 days would be perfect.
All right, blah, 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 blah. Good job. 10 questions deep.
You can tell he's a
This was
teacher.
rough.
Well, I mean, I pitched Sophia the biggest softball ever. Might as well.
You sure did.
let her
Thank
hit
you.
it. I gave her the talkative guy of the group.
God, I
I
suck.
was like,
man.
he's giving me everything I need. But Bob was helping me out though. Thank you. Good looking.
I'm the rook over here. I'm lucky I knew the answer to the executor question.
Sophia, how did it feel?
It felt good. I definitely lost track. I feel like I need my own little seller lead sheet here. Because you know he was talking and then I'm like, damn, this is a lot of information and I'm trying to write everything down and
I mean,
not
I get
really
it.
think
Put you on the
about
spot.
yeah
You know, kind of
but
thing.
so good. I like the practice. I need more of this.
Now, obviously, we would never just, you know, launch directly into bombardment of questions because that would feel like interrogation to the other individual, right? What do I make? You know, ring, ring. Hey, this is Sophia. How can I help you? You know, blah, 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 blah. Great. Question 1, question 2, question 3, right? They're going to feel interrogated out of the gate. We would want to set that up. We'd want to tee that up. Hey, Keith, thanks for calling and sharing a little bit about that. If you got about 5 or 10 minutes, I'd love to ask you some, you know, questions, better understand your situation and see how I'm going to be able to help you. It's a setup that I use quite frequently. I jump on a Zoom call, you know, small chat for 2 seconds kind of thing. You know, hey, Keith, great to see you, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, looks like you were doing something formal today. You got a tie on, that kind of stuff, you know, cool. Hey, Keith, why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about, you know, what you got going on, where you're at, where your goals are at, what are you trying to look to achieve here, and how I'm going to be able to help you, you know, do that. And as you get talking, then I kind of, you know, ask the questions, but you're jumping on a Zoom knowing that we're going to be on there for 20, 30 minutes at that point. Cold phone call answer or cold phone call in, or somebody messages you on your website, you reach out to them. they're maybe not expecting a 10-minute conversation. Maybe they just thought it'd be a quick conversation. So you're going to want to tee that up. Hey, Gene, thanks for calling. You know, I appreciate a little bit of the info. Do you have 10 minutes right now for us to talk about this? Or would it be better to set up another time where we can take about 10, 15 minutes? I can ask you some questions, better understand your situation, and give you a better guidelines on how I can help you. No, I'm good right now. I got 10 minutes. Cool. Now I can go into the questions, right? For the purpose of this exercise, I just had you guys go right into it, but definitely tee that up. And by teeing that up, we're keeping control of the posture here, right? We're keeping posture and control of the situation. I know I need about 10, 15 minutes to ask a series of questions to better understand their situation and to come up with what I want to do next. Right? Where am I going with this? So by teeing it that way, hey, you got 10 minutes? Love to chat. I need about 10 minutes of your time. It's kind of like, hey, do you want this floaty to stop drowning? Great. I need you to put your hands above your head so I can throw it at you and make sure you catch it. Make sense there? The other one that I'll throw out is sometimes it's funny in the exercises like this. Sophia uses the filler word a lot. And then the answer to every question that she got, her answer back was, okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool, right? Understanding that it's okay sometimes to throw a different filler word in there. Interesting, Keith. Never thought of that. Actually, that's the first I've heard. Wow, you and 5 siblings? While I process the next question. Instead of just, okay, cool. Okay, cool. Or yeah. Right? We all have our little nuanced filler word that we like to go to. Be more aware of that. Sound good? Thumbs up on that? Sweet. We got about 5 minutes left. Anybody got any thoughts, comments, questions they'd like to throw out before we wrap it up?
So question, Sean. So during the conversation, when you kind of feel like you're losing control, what's a good way to regain that back?
Questions. Let's say Keith is rambling too much, right? I asked this question and he's just going and going and going. I like that because, again, I want him talking like crazy. But if I notice Keith's getting off topic or Keith's trying to ask me questions back that really don't matter right now at this point, I'm going to stop and reframe this whole entire situation around the question. So I might say something like, Keith, that's actually a really interesting question, or that's really good that you're asking that. It's going to be dependent on a couple things. Let's go ahead and, if you don't mind, let me get a couple more things that, some answers to some stuff here to better help you on that. Got to rein it back in, right? Or if he's rambling and rambling and rambling and rambling, and he's not giving me the time to inject, and he's talking about stuff now that he's way off topic of what my question was, we can just cut him off politely with, inject with something in there. He was rambling about, well, it was my grandfather's house and it was over in such and such area of Georgia and blah, 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 blah. I could have immediately, I'm thinking we're going down the wrong track. Keith, did your grandfather ever update it? Keith, what's the condition of it, right? Is it, is it grandparent type condition? I love my grandparents' house, but in today's market, buyers don't buy that. Or did your grandfather have some good taste and really update this place recently? Inject somehow to get back control, right? In the scenario of that you drowning and me on the sideline, if I throw you the device, and I don't know if anybody's ever gone through lifeguard training, but they actually train you, if you throw a device to somebody and they start climbing up the rope. I used to train our Marines in water operations like this. If you got a guy that panics and starts climbing on your pack and trying to climb up on you, you actually push them away. You actually send them back out into panic mode to protect yourself, to get their control, to be able to get them back safe, right? It's the same thing in sales. When somebody's overtaking I actually have to push them back for a second. And I just politely cut them off, or politely inject, or politely slap another question on something he just said to get him kind of steering back the direction that I want to go. Does that make sense, Gene? Good question. It's actually a whole other training right there. Okay, we all good? Who's gonna ask more questions this week on calls with people? I'm curious to see how it helps you guys.